Clutch is a wee bit noisy, but I think that's just because of the miles it's done. I've done the brake fluid. I had to get a new brake fluid reservoir because this was leaking here. Aye, somebody asked me the other day how the Goldwing was going. Still got it. Still got the KTM as well. New chain, sprockets and everything. Although she's had her problems, she still seems to be going. 35,000 k's later. Anyway, the Goldwing. I've had her now for about 7 or 8 months, 8 months maybe, and certainly not regretted it. She's a lovely bike. I mean, look at her. She needs a clean, but she runs well. She's done nearly 75,000 k's now, which isn't bad. And as you know, she's a beast of a machine. You know, that big 6-cylinder boxer engine. But the weight is down there, the fuel's under the seat, you know. When you're actually riding it, she feels really lightweight. You wouldn't think it was as heavy as it was. Compared to some of these other big tourers and things, you know, she feels a lot lighter than most of them, like some of the big Harley Davidsons and BMWs and everything, simply because everything's so low. So yeah, I've not regretted buying it. I use it weekends, I use it in my holidays. If I'm going to go off with the wife somewhere, we'll take the Goldwing out, and why not? I mean, look at that, that's a beast. It's like driving a car, it really is. I've not done anything to her. I've got these highway pegs on. These were on it when I got it. I might take them off, because when I'm sitting on the bike, my legs are that short, I can't reach them anyway, so it's pointless having them there. But saying that, I suppose it's good if the bike goes over on its side. It's going to sit on them, no the protector. Yeah, I might just leave them on. Never had a problem with it. Everything works fine, it drives fine, the gears are fine, the engine's fine. Clutch is a wee bit noisy, but I think that's just because of the miles it's done. Probably one day I'll have to change the clutch, but not a big job. That's too easy. So yes, I've not regretted buying it. It's a good bike for commuting to work as well, although it's not as thin as what the KTM is. You know, it's not as good for going in and out traffic, but I don't know. You can certainly go in and out the traffic okay. I meant lane splitting. It's not as good as at lane splitting as what the KTM is. It's a wee bit wider than the KTM, but not a lot really when you look at her. But yeah, definitely worth buying. Somebody also asked would I trade it and buy a new one, and I did think about it, but realistically I use the KTM to commute. I mean, KTM's a lovely bike, look at it. It's got a new chain, sprockets, you know. I've done the brakes on it, changed all the brakes over. I've done the brake fluid. I had to get a new brake fluid reservoir because this was leaking here. Every time I try to bleed the brakes, and it was about $90 odd for one, but I got one, put it on, so I've done that. New brake pads, as you know, I changed the fork seals because they were leaking, so it's new seals, new fluid, new brake pads because they got covered in oil, bled the brakes, back brakes the same, new pads, new fluid. Yeah, and she's going absolutely fantastic. I was at one point, 2 or 3 points, thinking of trading it in, you know, but she runs fine. It's a really good bike to commute with. But the Goldwing, yeah, it's great for going out weekends, going for runs with the boys, with the bike club. It's just perfect. I did think about putting different pipes on it, just to give it a bit more sound, but I'm not convinced. I'm not really convinced I need to do that. I might just leave it as it is. And as some of you know, the Yamaha Bolt had's gone. I sold that. And I sold that quite easily. I put it on Facebook Marketplace and it was gone in no time at all. So that's the way. So all I'm left was the Goldwing, the KTM, the Jeep, and my wife's wee company car, which is quite handy because it doesn't cost anything to run, even the fuel's paid for. But yeah, there's good and bad points in the Goldwing. One of the bad points is it does use a wee bit more fuel, but then I'm only using it for weekends and going rides with the boys. So, and it's not that much more, you know, for the size of the engine. I reckon it's worth it, you know, for the fun you have with that bike. Yeah, that's the only downside really. There isn't any other. It just runs fantastic. It's like one of these bikes you buy that just keeps going forever and ever. Throughout the winter time I put the charger, the battery tender on just to keep the battery topped up. And I bought another battery for it, but I've never put it on yet. I've not had to. So I've got a lithium battery sitting there for it to put on at some point. I'll maybe get around to that eventually. Yeah, but she goes really well. Nothing I need to do to it. I don't need to get my grinder out or paint out or anything like that. Anyway, so that's about it. Just a quick one, just to give you an update on the Goldwing. So yeah. So if you were ever thinking about getting one of these, I would recommend it. Would you get a new one? Would you get a second-hand one? If it was going to be your only bike and you were going to be using it every day, I would get a new bike. But if, like me, you're just using it for weekends, taking the wife out, that sort of thing, second-hand's good enough. It really is. Even these things, some of these Goldwings, you know, I bought that with 70,000 Ks on it. Some of these ones you see are over 100, some are over 200,000 Ks, and they still go. There's never a problem with them. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today, just a quick update. Been pretty quiet, I've not been doing much apart from work around the house. The cars and the bike's been going fine, but I'll do a wee review of the Jeep at some point. Still never done it. Maybe do it this weekend, I'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'll see you all later. Bye for now.